How did just 4 companies end up knowing the secrets of nearly every powerful corporation on the planet? To understand that, you have to look above the companies everyone recognizes. When people think of corporate power, they think Apple, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs. But there's a layer above them, a layer almost nobody talks about. The Big Four aren't just accountants. They're gatekeepers. Every publicly traded company in America is legally required to undergo an independent audit. That means an outside firm must verify their financial statements are real, accurate, and legal. Here's where the story gets disturbing. Just 4 firms control 98% of all public company audits in the United States. That's trillions of dollars flowing through companies they audit every single year. They see everything. Product launches months before release, mergers before press announcements, the real numbers behind every earnings call. And by law, they can't tell anyone. But that's only the beginning. Here's how the Big Four became untouchable. They don't just audit companies, they consult for them. Think about that. The same firm hired to independently verify a company's books is also being paid millions for tax strategy, IT systems, restructuring, and growth consulting. Here's a number that changes everything. 60 to 70% of Big Four revenue doesn't come from auditing. It comes from consulting and advisory services, which means they make far more money helping companies optimize numbers than questioning whether those numbers are honest. So ask yourself this. If you're paying your auditor $20 million a year for consulting, how aggressive do you think that audit really is? You're not just their client, you're their biggest customer. And that conflict reshaped the entire system. It wasn't always the Big Four. It used to be the Big Five. One of them was Arthur Andersen, a legendary accounting firm trusted for nearly 90 years. Then came Enron. In 2001, Enron collapsed in the largest corporate fraud in U.S. history. Arthur Andersen was their auditor. They'd been approving fake numbers for years. And here's the part history barely talks about. Arthur Andersen wasn't fined and restructured. They were destroyed. Convicted of obstruction of justice, lost every major client. 85,000 people lost their jobs. Overnight, the Big Five became the Big Four. And that's when regulators realized something terrifying. When Arthur Andersen collapsed, chaos followed. Thousands of companies suddenly needed new auditors. The remaining Big Four couldn't handle the workload. Audits were delayed, financial filings stalled, markets panicked, stock prices dropped, trust evaporated. And that's when the truth became obvious. If even one more Big Four firm collapses, the global financial system could seize up. There aren't enough firms left to replace them. Which means the Big Four aren't just dominant, they're systemically essential. And that leads to the unspoken rule. They can't be punished too hard. They can't be broken up. They're too big to fail and too big to regulate. Now it gets uncomfortable. Independence at this point is mostly a myth. The Big Four dominate corporate audits across the world. But here's the real power move. They're also the main recruiting pipeline for corporate leadership. Your CFO? Former Big Four. Your regulator? Ex-Big Four partner. Auditors become executives. Executives hire their former firms. Those firms audit them again. It's a closed loop. And when scandals happen, Wirecard, Carillion, Luckin Coffee, the same pattern repeats. Fines are paid, promises are made. Nothing fundamentally changes, because it can't. The system depends on them. So now you have your answer. This is how just 4 companies ended up knowing the secrets of nearly every powerful corporation on Earth. Not through conspiracy, but through design. Every time you invest, every time you trust an earnings report, Every time you believe corporate numbers, you're trusting one of these 4 firms to tell you the truth. But who audits the auditors? Who watches the gatekeepers? That's what we break down here on Money Matrix. If this opened your eyes to how power really works behind the scenes, subscribe to Money Matrix, where we decode the systems that control money, markets, and corporations. Now I want your take. Are the Big Four necessary guardians of financial truth, or a cartel that's grown too powerful to control? Drop your answer in the comments. This is Money Matrix. I'll see you in the next one.